What's up, Melanated family? This is your boy Harrison Man bringing you a brand new episode of the Melanated Convo podcast, my show. I like to welcome everybody to the show. And like I always say, if this is your first time tuning into the show, basically what I do here is I cover different news topics going on in the black community, in the melanated community. I definitely think it's extremely important that we have our posts on how our people are being treated in society. Also on the show, I like to discuss my favorite part of the show is I like to discuss black businesses. I call it the Black Business Spotlight, where I talk about a couple specific black businesses that I think we all need to support when we look at our economy, when we look at how we do financially as black folks. Our money does not circulate around our communities nearly enough. So I'll make it a point to talk about qualified black businesses, because like I always say, it's one thing just to go out and spend your money with somebody that's black, but shit, we put a lot of time and effort into making our money, most of us. So you just don't want to give your money to anybody. You just don't want to just give your money to somebody just because they're black. The qualifier is always that they're black. So you have a product or service that is just as beneficial to me, or product or service that is just as good as I can get somewhere else. The tiebreaker is that you black. So I think it's important when we get paid, when we come up on money, when we are shopping, whenever we spending money, we need to at least look at black people who sell those same products, right? So if you don't like racism, if you don't like the injustices and all the shit that you've been watching, one of the ways you can be a revolutionary is by actually spending your money and circumventing your funds with people who look just like you. You feel me? So it's important that we talk about black businesses. It's important that we are aware of who are selling products and services, especially when they look just like us, right? Also on the show, I always have a specific topic regarding something that has to do with our kids, something that has to do with our society, something that has to do with our relationships. Today's topic is going to be about our kids being in the street. If we have a young man who's in the street, that's selling drugs in the street, gangbanging in the street, if you have a young man that's in jail from doing any crimes or anything like that, who is at fault, right? Is it your fault? Is it the system's fault? Is it the kid's fault? Should he be more accountable, right? So we're going to get into that at the end of the show as well. You feel me? So if this is your first time tuning into the show, this show comes on Melanated TV, the Melanated Fathers TV YouTube channel. That's Melanated Fathers TV on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please click at the bottom of this video. This is going to be on YouTube. Click on the bottom of this video. Click subscribe. If you are watching the video on Facebook, please go to my YouTube page, Melanated Fathers TV on YouTube. Click the subscribe button, click the like buttons to the video so I can make this thing as poppin' as possible. Continue to rock with your boy. Also, this show, the Melanated Convo podcast, is a part of a bigger platform that I have called Melanated Fathers of America, which is my organization and website. You can go to melanatedfathers.com to check out a lot of the information that we post on the website, which is primarily about black history. A lot of the news stories that I talk about are on there as well. We have a book of the month segment. We have a community forum segment where we basically highlight different individuals in the black community who are speaking truth to power. So we post their videos, we post different news articles about different things going on in black society, or whether it be with our kids or our relationship. So the whole platform is about empowering our people. I chose to do it through the lens of fatherhood, simply because I'm a father of 5, been through a whole bunch of shit with my kids and their mothers. So I think it's imperative that we get a better understanding of how we should be conducting ourselves when it comes to relating to the opposite sex, or how we should be conducting ourselves when it comes to being a parent, right? Especially for a lot of us, like black men like me, who may not have had a father, who may not have had a male role model to kind of give you game on what to do and what not to do when it comes to being a man or just being a father. So it's important that we have these dialogues. It's important that I present you with new information. It's really a passion of mine to see my people and see my black fathers become better men, better fathers. The better we are, the better we can be for our women, the better we can be positive contributors to society, right? So let's get it going, family. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel, go to Melanated Fathers TV, check out some of the articles, check out some of the stuff I do, subscribe to the website as well. So let's go. First thing I like to do always is my black businesses, right? So the first black business, and I want everybody to go to the website, Go to the website, buy something from them, at least take a look at what they're doing. You feel me? The first business is itsablackthing.com. Itsablackthing.com. Spelled exactly how it sounds. Now, itsablackthing.com is like a cyber shopping source for our community, for gifts, right? So if it's time for Christmas, you need a Christmas card, you can go there. You can get ornaments for your Christmas tree, even though I don't really rock with the Christmas shit as much as I used to. A lot of our people do. So if you're gonna spend money on Christmas, if you're gonna spend money on Christmas cards or ornaments, go to this website. All of their ornaments and Christmas cards are inspired by our history, are inspired by Africa, are inspired by who we really are. So it's some really dope shit. So on there you can get the Christmas cards, the ornaments, you can get face masks because of everything going on right now. Why not have a face mask that's inspired by our culture, or have a face mask that's inspired by your people? You feel me? You can get face masks, you can get a jigsaw puzzle, crossword puzzles, adult coloring books, and all of these things. The beauty of it to me is all of these things are designed with us in mind. So it's our history on these items, it's different parts of Africa on these items, so everything about their products speaks to us. You feel me? And that's the shit that I fuck with. So if you haven't done so already, you may not have ever heard about this website, go to itsablackthing.com today. So again, coloring books, crossword puzzles, jigsaw puzzles, face masks, Christmas cards, quiz cards. They have quiz cards about our history. So maybe you're a person who haven't read many books about our history, or maybe you're a person who want to be able to talk about our history in like a smaller form, so you can get these cards where you can do quizzes with your kids or different people in your house, right? It's a great way to learn Black history in more of a fun environment, you know what I mean? So there's gift sets as well. So if somebody's birthday or Christmas or anything, you can go in there and get different gift sets. A family member of mine a couple years ago, a female family member of mine, I went on a website, they had designed tote bags with like African goddesses on them and all kind of dope shit, so I was able to get her something off of there. What else? They have ties, artwork, a lot of different artwork from, again, people in our history, different instances that have happened throughout history. There's different books you can buy on there, bathroom accessories, black soap, shea butter. It's almost like a one-stop shop for a lot of the things that we're gonna buy already. And like I always say, man, we spend a lot of money in this country on a monthly and a yearly basis. How about we circumvent some of those funds back to people who look like us? Like, we looking at all of these injustices. I know y'all don't like the shit you see, like the police violence, how we've been treated by these different institutions for all these years. I get it. So let's all figure out different ways we can be revolutionaries in this fight. So again, you could be on the front line marching and protesting. You could be someone who advocates for change in the political arena. You could be someone who writes books about it. You could do show like I do, or a platform like I have. You can do all type of shit. But also, if you don't do any of that, you could just spend your money with Black folks. You could just make it a point to spend your money with Black folks. You could make it a point to use your social media or any influencer platform that you have to tell people about your people. Tell people about different Black people you know selling goods and services that we all can use, right? So do me a favor, family. Go to itsablackthing.com today. Again, like I always say, even if you're not ready to buy nothing right now, I'm not going to present y'all with nothing that I don't fuck with. I'm not going to present y'all that nothing that I wouldn't buy myself. So please go to the website. Check them out. Itsablackthing.com. A lot of good deals. The everything that I mentioned isn't really expensive. Something that I'm a rock with is they have like a Negro League baseball section where they got Negro League jerseys, hats. That shit is fire. So I'm probably going to end up getting some of that myself. I wasn't even aware that they had that on the website till I went on there this morning. You feel me? So they a lot of Negro League memorabilia. They have the Buffalo Soldiers gear. So if you're familiar with who the Buffalo Soldiers were in African history, or Black history rather, you can go to the website and get a dose of that. You feel me? So go to itsablackthing.com today. Support our people, y'all, so we can get out of this hole we in. You feel me? Now, last business. This is my boy right here. My boy, comedian that I follow, probably one of my favorite comedians, Corey Holcomb. Corey Holcomb, he has a internet radio show that's really popular that I've been listening to for a pretty long time now, called the 5150 Show. He's a comedian, but on his show, he really speaks truth to power, real conscious brother, you know what I mean? So I rock with Corey. Corey has a clothing line called the 5150 Gear. The name of his show is Corey Corey Holcomb 5150. So he has a clothing line as well that I'm proud to present to everybody because there's a lot of dope shit on there also. This is one of the shirts, the 5150 Nation shirt that I got maybe about a year ago or something. But he has a lot of new prints on the website now. So if you go to CoreyHolcomb.com, that's CoreyHolcomb.com, and again, as a part of the Black Business Spotlight, under the video, I'll put all the information so you can go to these websites and visit them or whatever, you know what I mean? But go to CoreyHolcomb.com. There's a lot of shirts in there. There's dresses for women. There's tank tops for women. But a lot of the shirts, now he's a comedian, so he approaches sometimes the injustice conversation from a comedic standpoint. So some of the shirts kind of address some of the injustices that we go through, and some of them do it from a comedic perspective. But in any case, I really support the brother. He's one of the black men, in my opinion, in society who has chosen to go out on a limb and speak truth to power, opposed to being rich in Hollywood or tucking his tail and not saying certain shit just to get further along, just to further along his career in Hollywood. He's actually chosen to be more outspoken about us. Like, if you listen to his show, I mean, it's obvious why he doesn't get different opportunities in Hollywood and shit like that, because he goes too hard at white supremacy. He goes too hard at any type of injustice that we have to go through. So I rock with my dude. You feel me? So go to CoreyHolcomb.com. CoreyHolcomb.com. Again, a lot of shirts inspired by the injustices that we face, about the police, about the entanglement shit with Jada and Will. He kind of made a funny spoof out of that, you know what I mean? So a lot of different, he has dresses and tank tops for women. He has a lot of abortion jokes that he do in his comedy set. So he has some shirts that's kind of funnily talking about abortion and why women shouldn't do it. But, you know, he, in a funny way, kind of presents a lot of serious topics that I think we need to be aware of. So go to CoreyHolcomb.com. That's CoreyHolcomb.com. Holcomb is Holcomb. That's Corey. Corey is spelled Corey. CoreyHolcomb.com. Go to the website today. Check out some of the shirts he got. Real funny shit. Some of it is serious. Some of it will make you think, you know what I mean? But again, he has a black business. Let's support the brother. The brother goes on his show, and to me, any black man in society who goes out on a limb for us, who is popular and have a platform and chooses to use that platform to speak truth to power, I'm rocking with that. So go to Corey Holcomb, go to CoreyHolcomb.com right now. You feel me? Now, first news story that I wanted to talk about, right? This one is probably the most upsetting to me. So again, past few weeks, we've been speaking a lot about the injustices that have been happening to our babies. Like last week, I reported on a story where a cop just opened fire on a car full of black babies that were 16 and under, right? And that was some fucked up shit. And again, I'm going to continue to bring awareness to how we treated as people, y'all. I don't care how many different stories come out or how long it take. We all need to be aware of where we at in this country. And I think until 40 million black people realize we at war, that realize we need to be on code with each other, that realize all we got is us, until we get there, I'm not going to stop. You feel me? And maybe that's a lofty goal, but I love my people. And I understand what we've been through in this country, right? I have a keen understanding of what we've been through in this country, but we got a long way to go. But a lot of us got to wake the fuck up. A lot of us got to realize that we at war. That don't mean you got to pack a damn gun and go outside and start marching around. You ain't got to go there. But at the end of the day, you got to be aware of what's going on with our people. You got to be aware of how we're viewed by people outside of our community. You know what I mean? And I don't mean to come at white folks specifically, but y'all got a lot of explaining to do. I don't couple all white folks together. If I meet somebody white that seems to be like a fair person, I can separate you from the injustices that I see your people doing. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna section you out like that. Y'all all together to a degree. You know what I mean? Just how y'all all put us together when some shit happened, it's all black folks. I have the ability to discern who's who, but at the end of the day, as a culture, y'all got some goddamn, y'all got some changes y'all need to make. So y'all need to be talking, if you are a fair white person, you need to be talking to your other white comrades and motherfuckers you see doing injustices to us or fuck shit to us on a normal basis, and you got to speak up too. Because if you are a fair-minded white person in your environments, in environments where you know there's injustices happening or we're being spoke about in a particular way, and you don't come to our defense, you just as bad as the ones we don't like. You feel me? So keep that in mind. Now, this story happened in Ronkonkoma, New York. Ronkonkoma, New York. I never knew it was such a place. You feel me? Ronkonkoma, New York. A white lady named Shannon Palmer, right? She was driving down the street and she viciously hit, this was a hit and run, family. She viciously hit a 9-year-old boy named Troy Russell and a 12-year-old boy named Toriano Jamison. Now, the reason why this is a big story, because again, if this was a white lady that hit these babies and then pulled over apologetically with empathy and called the cops to get this fixed, I mean, that type of shit happens. You're not looking, you on the phone. Like, we all have been there where we're not paying as much attention as we should while we driving, right? So I'll give her that. But the mere fact that she sped off, like this was a hit and run, the fact that she hit these young babies, these is a 9-year-old and a 12-year-old. Now, granted, or now, check it out, right? The 9-year-old, he has 3 broken ribs, a broken elbow, a broken left thumb, a broken left Achilles. His right leg is completely broken in half. This kid almost died. You feel me? And this white bitch just drove off. This white bitch just drove off. So y'all tell me what the fuck this was. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm all about giving people the benefit of the doubt. Even though we've been treated the way we've been treated in this country, it's still in me to give people the benefit of the doubt. That's just how my personality is. You right? You feel me? But when I get to seeing the same type of shit over and over again, I'm like, nah, this is a pattern, family. Now, this white woman hits these babies and just pulls off, right? So how can you how can any adult in their right state of mind see yourself harm 2 young children like this and just pull off if you're compassionate? If you care about the lives of those 2 little kids, right? Now, the 12-year-old, he's suffering from abdominal gashes in his head. He has a hip fracture, and he might not be able to walk again because of the damages in his lungs. Excuse me. Because of the damages of his lungs and his kidneys, right? So look, family, again, I come on here week to week and I try to tell people we're at war. Not to scare you, not to make it seem like as soon as you walk outside, it's going to be a white militia that's going to kill your ass. The war that we talking about, family, is a little more covert. The war that we talking about happens in instances like this, where you have a white woman mauled down because for them to have that extent of those injuries, she was trying to kill him, family. So explain to me what the fuck happened. This was a mistake? So that was just an accident? You gonna hit 2, this ain't a goddamn dog or an animal. You gonna hit these 2 babies and pull off? That was intentional. That was intentional. See? So now we're right back to the same place where we have a percentage of white Americans who are extremely racist towards us, who don't even see us as humans. Back in the day when they saw us as 3/4 of a human, I think a lot of the policies, that's why I'm so big on history. I think a lot of the policies and procedures that have always ran this country are still in play today. And there's a lot of people outside of our community who don't mean us no good. And if you're a black child, they're not looking at you like a child, family. They're looking at you like a goddamn grown person. You feel me? So in this situation, she's been released. I'm not sure if she's actually going to get charged for it. You know how they do, but we need to be aware. Now, I don't know what these babies could have done differently. They were on a play date with each other. They decided, because of the quarantine and everything, they decided they wanted to see each other. They're on a play date with each other, and this is how they end up. So we need to be justice advocates. That's why I call myself a justice advocate. We need justice. This lady, after almost killing her, she needs to be in jail. She needs to be in jail. And this is the thing, family. If we not going put shit in our own hands and decide that we gonna bring justice to whoever we need to bring justice to, if we not gonna create our own militia and do some shit like that, then we need to rely on the system that we've employed. We need to rely on the politicians that we pay. You see what I'm saying? So all my family in New York, y'all need to do something. Y'all need to do something. Now, the family of these babies are outraged, and they doing what they got to do to move the case forward so she could possibly get punished. But everybody in New York need to do something. You know what I mean? I'm absolutely sick and tired of these situations continually happening to us, time and time again, right? But the biggest thing we can't do is forget about it. The biggest thing we can't do is quit talking about it. We need to bring awareness to this shit. So my family in New York, let's stand up. If there's some letters we gotta write, if they're now the marching and the protesting, like I continue to say on here, I'm not a big proponent of the marching and the protesting, because I think protesting and marching is to bring awareness to something. Everybody know we get fucked up. Everybody know how the police treat us. I don't know if that's going to be the thing we need to bring awareness to something. We need to contact the prosecutors in this area, the DA, whoever we need to contact that's in law, even though they all working together. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes it's like a losing battle, but we have to do something if we're not going to take it into our own hands and create our own militia. So let's all pray for these babies, man. Let's pray that they're able to walk again. Let's pray that they're able to come out of this better than they were before. Let's pray that they're not too traumatized by this incident. And you're damn right, the state of New York need to pay their families. You're goddamn right, the state of New York need to pay their families, but we need to put pressure on the prosecutors in that area, put pressure on the law officials in that area. This white woman needs to go to jail for a long time. Family, if we're gonna look to this system to help us, to me it's easy. Once they severely punish one of these motherfuckers, then this shit can be over. Then this shit can be over, because we laugh at the whole Karen phenomenon, but that's been in our culture, family. Emmett Till dealt with a Karen. In a not so direct way, he dealt with a Karen. You know how many race riots was started because a white woman said we did some shit to her that we didn't do? You see what I'm saying? So sometimes we bang on white men for the shit they put in play politically and for the shit they've done to us, lynchings and all of the injustices that have been at their hands. But family, white women, they not clean. They not to be excused neither. You see what I'm saying? We report on stories about black or white men who have treated a teenager like he's a grown man, or treated a young black person in an incorrect manner. White women do the same shit. We got to call their whole culture to the goddamn table. You see what I'm saying? So fuck that shit. Well, you know what I'm saying? Black people can't be racist, but I don't see myself as a racist person or a real prejudiced person. I'm for justice, family. Wherever that comes from, I'm from justice. When it's our people fucking each other up, we need to do better there. If it's somebody outside of our community doing us something wrong, we need to do better there. You see what I'm saying? I'm for justice no matter who is doing the wrong shit. You feel me? So hopefully Shannon Palmer, that's her name, Shannon Palmer, they don't have a picture of her, which is some shit right there. When we do some shit, when it's some shit where we're the culprit, our picture is up just like that. You feel me? Unless it's a young person. But for the most part, they always showing our shit. They making sure you see who we are. They made sure not to show her picture. I think that was purposely. So we need to do what we can to make sure Shannon Palmer, she's 31, she's from Long Island, she needs to go to jail for attempted fucking murder. The charges they had was like assault and all this softball shit. She's been released. So they picked her up, and of course, like they do, she's been released. We need to stay on their goddamn head to make sure she gets a long amount of time. If she gets 15, 20 years for doing this, then we'll eventually begin to see certain shit like this calm down. That's my take on it, family. So this system is not for us, but if we're going to be in America, we still have to use the laws that have been provided to help us, unless we're going to create our own militia and go find these motherfuckers ourselves. You feel me? So Shannon Palmer, fuck you. I hope your ass go to jail. You feel me? Now, next story. This is an old story, but the video just came out for it, right? So this happened 4 years ago. June 22nd, 2016, the police get a phone call that the police get a phone call that somebody is breaking into cars. Don't it always sound like some weird shit? They always get some type of random call and end up fucking us up. But anyway, so the police get a phone call about somebody breaking into cars in a particular area, right? I didn't get the state that this happened in. God damn it. But okay, so they get a call about somebody breaking into cars. One police officer goes to and this is a weird shit. To me, this was like an assassination almost. The police officer goes to the area where the supposed crimes are taking place, right? Once he gets to the area, this is how it happens. Simple as this. Once he gets to the area, a car, and the video was just being released. The video wasn't released till now. That's why this story is still coming back up, because The family just released a video, right? So he's driving, a car is parked. That parked car comes onto the street and starts driving towards him. Now the car for an instant looks like it's about to hit him, right? So the police officer puts his lights on. Boom, puts his lights on. The car goes to the other side of the officer to drive by him. Once he's going to drive by him, the officer shoot one time. Bam! Shoot him in his head, right? Shoot him in his head. So let's look at this again. The police got a call that somebody was breaking into cars. Now, the story reported that they still don't know if this was the young man he shot. The young man's name was DeRavis Kane Rogers. I could be saying his name a little wrong. I apologize, family. DeRavis Kane Rogers was the young man's name. The officer's name is James Burns, just so we can be clear about who we're talking about, right? So DeRavis Kane Rogers was the 22-year-old brother's name. He shot him in his head and killed him. So let's go over what happened again. You get a call that people are breaking into cars. You're in the area. A car starts coming towards you, swerves a little bit, gets out of your way. You shoot him in the head. What the fuck just happened? What was that? So are we not to believe, like the FBI told us, that white supremacist organizations have infiltrated have infiltrated police forces around the country? Are we not to believe that? I keep bringing that up because what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? What did he shoot him for? Now, after he shot him, several months later, he was fired. Aggravated assault, murder charges, all these things were brought up on him. They were released, like the charges didn't stick. 2018, the charges were brought back up to a degree. They're still waiting to go to trial. So they're slow footing this shit. They're not trying to arrest this man. So what are we to think is going on here? What are we to think is going on here? This is why we keep bringing up the police injustice against us. This is a war against us, family. Whether this shit comes out now or it comes out 30 years from now of what these motherfuckers was trying to do to us, this is a goddamn war against us, family. Give me the reason that he shot into the car. Give me the reason. Can anybody explain that? With a straight fucking face. Can anybody explain that? Why did he shoot in this young man's car? And he shot him in the head and killed him. To me, this was an assassination. You was going to kill somebody black that night. That's what I'm to believe. You was going to kill somebody black that night. Right? And you wonder why we don't call the police? You wonder why fucking Meg Thee Stallion gets shot in her foot? And the sister going to say, I didn't tell the cops what was going on because we don't know what they're going to do. You see what I'm saying? So these people, these fucking race soldiers, because if you're reacting to somebody based on their race, you're not a cop, you're no good to us, you're a fucking race soldier, right? This is some shit. Family. This is an assassination, family. So are we not to believe they aren't trying to do this shit to us? When on camera or a news story, somebody point me to cops killing teenage white kids. Point me to the article. Point me to the video. Point me to the video. Right? You can't point. There is no goddamn videos. Like I always say, family, if you knew history, the slave patrols was the first form of policing in the United States of America, made to keep us in charge. Made to keep us in charge. The other type of policing at that time that was geared towards white citizens was a different type of policing. There was no violence involved. They're just keeping people in line. They're just making sure people don't wobble home drunk. It was simple shit. They weren't treating never have they treated white people this way as far as law enforcement is concerned. You see what I'm saying? So we need to be aware, your black sons need to be aware of how to conduct themselves when they get into a situation where the police are involved. They need to learn how to shut the fuck up. That's the biggest thing. They need to learn how to shut the fuck up and do what you're told. Because in my opinion, family, if we're not ready to ride, if we're not ready to kill them, if you get pulled over, if you're in a situation where you're again, I'm not going to tell nobody to tuck their tail and not be prideful as a man in any situation in life. And if you disrespect it, you can react however you feel you need to react if you're disrespected by anybody. You see what I'm saying? But for the most part, we need to know how, in my opinion, you get pulled over by the cops, you're behind enemy lines. You get pulled over by some motherfuckers with a gun, you don't have a gun, it's not going to end well for you. Period. And they have a system backing them. So we're better fit to make it home so we can figure out a game plan at that point. You see what I'm saying? But arguing with cops, trying to fight cops, again, as a man, I'm not telling you what to do, but that's damn near a losing battle. You see what I'm saying? So we need to figure out a way to help our kids with this, but at the same time, we need justice. At the same time, this motherfucker need to go to jail, period, for a long period of time. So black folks, melanated family, if you're not having these type of diatribes, these type of discussions with your kids, you're doing yourself a disservice. Your children need to know what goes on outside. They need to know how we're treated outside, right? Not to scare them, not to make them scared of cops or weary of white people or any of this kind of shit, but they need to be aware of the country that we actually live in. You see what I'm saying? So don't be afraid to read news stories like this. Don't be afraid to show them videos like this. You see what I'm saying? So they can be aware of how we're treated. And I'm for my people 100%. So that you in New York and you get into an incident with the cops, you my brother. You see what I'm saying? I don't separate us by region or by coast or by any of that. We all one. We all one. We all need to think about it that way. It shouldn't have to come to a point where some fucked up shit happened to somebody in your family for you to start wanting to march or for you to start wanting to say, okay, Black Lives Matter. Nah. I'm going to come to you every week with information about how your family is being treated across the country. And there you go there. I'm going to let you know how your family is being treated across the country so you can know. So you can be aware. So you can get upset. I want everybody to be upset. Not upset to the point where you go out and do some stupid shit because we still need to be smart. But you need to care, family. This is why I do this shit. We need to care about each other. At every turn, we need to care about each other. All we got is us, family. You feel me? So this racist-ass cop, James Burns, again, if we're not willing to take the law into our own hands, we need to see to it, my family, we need to see to it through petitioning, through contacting the city officials in the city that they live in. We need to do something to make sure that this cop gets arrested. Right? To make sure that we get justice. And we need to keep speaking on this shit. We need to keep unifying. We need to keep doing whatever we can as black folks, as melanated folks, to keep ourselves out of harm's way. You see what I'm saying? Because yes, we have a system that attacks us at every turn, but we also be on a whole bunch of nigga shit too. You see what I'm saying? Because when I'm looking at in my community, in the neighborhood that my business is in, different shootings keep happening, right? I can't stand that shit, man. I'm tired of that shit now, family. I'm tired of that shit now. It's 2020, man. You got kids. Make sure your kids know about history. Make sure your kids know about white supremacy. Make sure they know about the shit we got going on in this country. So it's no fucking excuse. I'm tired of the black on black shit. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. You pulling out your gun to shoot another black man, but you ain't gonna go fuck with George Zimmerman. You ain't finna find James Burns. Fuck that. Fuck that. That ain't no real nigga shit to me. That's not real at all. Not in 2020. When we got all this racial tension going on and shit, and y'all want to fight each other? No, nigga. Go get James Burns. You feel me? Now, last news story. This was something I just thought about today, right? I'm like a lot of black men in this country. I'm a fan of the NBA, played basketball my whole life. So I'm just a fan of the sport, fan of the competition of the sport. Haven't watched basketball as much as I used to, just because, I don't know, I'd rather do other shit with my time. Depending on the team in the game, it's not as interesting as it used to be to me. I'd rather play to a degree, you know what I mean? But now, anybody who watching basketball, since the George Floyd shit, a lot of companies have came out and are attempting to show us support. The NBA being one of those companies, right? The NBA, if you watch the games, every player has it says Black Lives Matter on the back of their jersey. It says in just something speaking to how we've been treated in this country. Everybody's jersey, right? The courts they're using has Black Lives Matter on it. If you're watching the game, most of the commercials are geared towards the injustices that we face, right? So, My thing about that is, look, I appreciate the NBA doing that. I appreciate any company that wants to say, you know what, we'll take down this monument. You know what, we'll change Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben. Okay, they were racist. Y'all caught us. Even though it's been fucking 100 years, we'll change it to something else. We'll make adjustments based on the fuck shit we've been doing to y'all for hundreds and hundreds of years, right? I get that. I appreciate that. What the NBA's doing, I appreciate that. All the jerseys, how the court looks, just standing with us. Like, I don't care if it should have happened a long time ago. The fact that everybody's doing it now, I appreciate that, right? However, and this is what the NBA needs to understand, any other corporation that wants to do a symbolic gesture aimed at making us feel better. Because when I look at the game and I'm watching with the Black Lives, yeah, that may feel good. When I look in Washington where they got Black Lives Matter on the ground, it's like Black Lives Matter way now at the White House, some shit like that. Yeah, it feels kind of good. But we need tangible benefits, family. We need tangible benefits. So if you're the NBA, any other of these big companies who are going out of their way to show some type of allegiance to our causes, I fuck with that. But if you're not going to give us any resources, then this is all for nothing. If you're not going to NBA, if you're not going to take a small percentage of the money you make from your teams to give back to the inner cities of those particular communities of that team, then you ain't really saying shit. If you don't want to give money to the inner city so we can build up the schools there, so we can build up the businesses there, so we can get people who look like me business loans so these kids can have jobs. If you're not going to build up the infrastructure in those particular areas and make sure that infrastructure benefits us solely or primarily, then you ain't talking about shit. See? Then you might as well go march. To me, that's the same as marching. Like, fuck a symbolic victory. We need tangible victories. You see what I'm saying? So yes, making sure you're aware, the coaches got a little thing on their shit where they aware of what's going on, boom, 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 boom. I get that. And again, I appreciate that. But if y'all not going to do some shit that's going to really change something, then it don't matter. If y'all not going to put your money where your mouth is, and I don't mean donating to some random black organization, y'all need to get in tune with the black people that in our country who really know what's going on, who really have their ear to the street and know who needs what. You know what I mean? Not some of these coons or goddamn bootlicks or goddamn bootleg motherfuckers who don't really care for black people like that. You know what I mean? They're more concerned with aligning themselves with a certain political apparatus so they can further their individual gain. You see what I'm saying? That ain't no shit we need. So you need to get with a black person or a melanated person who understands exactly what we're going through and can help you with these issues. You see what I'm saying? Because again, putting Black Lives Matter on your court, putting Black Lives Matter or Injustice or Breonna Taylor and all that shit's just posturing. That shit's just symbolic unless you put some real money behind it. You feel me? So y'all, I appreciate any company that wants to support us, but if you're not willing to give your money, if you're not willing to give more than just a commercial or, you know what I mean? Because some of this shit just can be PR. Let's be honest. Some of it can be some of these companies just getting in front of a potential problem they may have if they don't do it. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I rock with what y'all doing, man, but we need resources. You feel me? Now, that is it for the news stories. So let's talk about the topic of the day. And this topic is close to my heart because this is something that I'm actually dealing with as a black father out here, right? So, black family, melanated parents, mothers and fathers. This is for the mothers and fathers of our community. So, you have a young black man, let's say he's a teenager, 15, 16, 17, right? Yo, black teenager. He decides that he wants to get into the street, right? Y'all living in a certain neighborhood. He decides he want to start running with these dudes that's selling dope, so now he's selling dope. He decides he want to run with this gang that's out there shooting niggas, that's out there doing whatever they got to do to make a dollar. He want to run with them, right? So if you got a kid that's heavy in the street, he out there doing negative shit in the street. Let's say he end up going to jail for whatever reason. Who's to blame for his situation, right? This is something that we really need to look at. I'm a parent, and I'm going to say this on camera, I'm a parent that has a teenage son in jail, right? And it was important to me to talk about this with the family. It was important for me to give a perspective to the family out there about how we find ourselves in situations like this, right? Because we're not, because we're at fault too, right? Now I'll break this down for you because it's convoluted. It's not a simple thing. You have a teenager who in the street, you have a teenager that end up going to jail. Is it your fault? Is it the system's fault? Should the young man have been more accountable himself? So this is what I think, family. So in 2020, it's important that we know, when I look at, for instance, my family history and my brothers and my father and what they've had to go through in this country, right? And I remember in the 80s and 90s, the crack era and the crack epidemic, and how many communities around our country was flooded with crack. And we have teenagers who indulge because they had parents who were on crack, or parents who it was just a mom there because the father wasn't there for whatever reason. Now, of course, there's systematic reasons why that happened to the prison industrial complex. Housed way more of us in jail than anybody else. So a lot of our fathers are in jail, right? So I'm kind of setting up my basis here, right? So we got a lot of fathers that's in jail. We had the mass incarceration of a lot of our men. We had the crack enter into our neighborhoods, and we're still feeling the residual effect from all of these things today, right? Right? So I'm gonna give us that. Like, racism, systematic injustices affects every aspect of our being here on this in this country. I honestly believe that, right? I honestly believe that. However, like I'm aware of where we come from systematically and historically. However, this is my opinion, family. So yes, there is outside factions that have played a part in the disbandment of our families, in the inequities that we face. Yes, that's true. But this is how I feel, family. In 2020, if you got a young man, even a young woman, if you got a young man that's in the street, that's selling dope in the street, doing hella street shit, just playing that game, ends up going to jail for whatever reason, that shit, it's your fault. That shit is your fault. If you have a young man in jail right now, I would say 8 times out of 10, because again, I just spoke about all the factors historically, but this is shit you should know about. Like, if we to keep it real, what we've been through in this country, who we are, man, look, if you a fucking adult, you should know this shit already. If you don't know it, that's on you. So if you got a kid that's playing a street game, you can't absorb yourself. You are at fault too. You are at fault too. Let me tell you why. It is our job as parents to put our kids in the best position possible to be successful. And in my opinion, that starts with the creation of the kid. Who are you having this kid with? Man or woman? Are you having this kid with an upstanding citizen? Are you having this kid with somebody that's going to be there for you? Are you having this kid with somebody you're going to be in a relationship with? And this is going to be some long-term shit where y'all going to build y'all family together, right? If you didn't, that's a part of the problem. See? Are you in a position where you had a child before putting yourself in a position to have the necessary resources to take care of this child? So that you have a kid and then realize you need money, or realize you want to move them to a certain neighborhood, or provide for them a certain lifestyle? If you didn't, it's your fault. You see what I'm saying? We can't just look at a kid being in the street or a kid being in jail and not break down all the factors that determine them being in that situation, right? So if you didn't set your life up properly before having your child, the negative shit your kid gets involved in, or the lifestyle your kid may choose That shit is on you, family. All too often, our kids become teenagers or young men, and we just cry, oh, I tried my best, I tried to do the best I can. Well, look, maybe your best wasn't good enough. That's what I'm realizing about myself. I ain't no fucking deadbeat dad or a man who hasn't tried to be in my kid's life or not be around them, because I understand time is the biggest currency you can provide kids. I'm not stupid, right? But even with me, being involved with my kids as much as I can, when I look back in hindsight, I made mistakes. So my son sitting in jail, my fault. Of course, there is several factors that got him where he is right now. But as a man, as a black man, knowing how this country operates, knowing how the family structure is supposed to be, I can't absolve myself. I'm at fault. I knew better. So I should have did better. You see what I'm saying? We got to get to that point, family. Our kids is the future of this goddamn country. So how we relate to them, how we set up their lives, plays a major part in the kind of people they should be, or the kind of people they're going to be. Now, if you raise your kid and this is how I feel, family. I don't give a fuck who don't like it. If you raise your kid in the hood without resources, without a father, without structure, right? You're lucky if they get out of that alive. You're lucky if they get out of that unscathed without choosing the street route or without choosing some stupid shit. You see what I'm saying? You're lucky. That's called luck, right? When I look at our communities, even today, and I see young men who be on some street shit. My family owns a funeral home, so I'm constantly at funerals where young men die, some by the hands of other young black men. And when I look at the parents of this young black man that's dead, I look at the parents and I say, I'm hearing them talk. I'm hearing how they interact with each other. I'm like, damn, this young man didn't have a shot. This shit is their fault. This shit is their fault. Yeah, the police ain't shit. Yeah, racism ain't shit. But we gotta fucking raise our kids ourselves, man. We gotta be more accountable for what actually happens to our children. So again, I'm saying, if you have a young man in jail, if you got a teenager that's in jail, if you got a teenager that's running the streets, that shit is your fault. That shit is your fault. As black people, we need to be accountable for our children's actions. If you didn't take the time to mate with the right woman, if you didn't, now I'm speaking directly to my goddamn fathers. If you didn't take the time to mate with the right woman, if you didn't take the time to properly set up your finances so you can send your kid to college, so when your kid is ready to go out into the world, they're not lacking for nothing resourcefully. You have every resource available to give them. If you did not do that, family, you failed. Now, I'm not calling you a failure. I'm not saying you can't get that shit right. I'm not saying you didn't try as hard as you did. But fuck the trying shit at this point, family. Let's look at the results. Let's look at the results. If your kid ends up doing some street shit and you and the mother are still together, you guys put them in the best environment possible, you put them in the best school possible, everything is laid out for them, you make them work hard, but you give them all the resources they need to be successful. If you do this and your kid still ends up going to jail or still ends up doing some street shit, you can literally look yourself in the face and say, you know what? I literally did everything I could. See, sometimes we say that to ourselves, but that's not the case. See, you can't negate the fact that you had a baby with a woman that you wasn't really feeling like that. You can't negate the fact that when they was younger, you probably was going through some shit. Whether you wasn't there, or maybe if you a street nigga and you was in jail yourself, maybe you was going through a drug problem yourself, maybe you was going through not understanding how to be a man or how to be a father. I get it, player. I get it. But the shit is still your fault. We can't remove accountability when the shit suits us, right? I'm tired of seeing our young men in these fucked up situations almost as in they didn't have a shot. You see what I'm saying? We too quick just to have babies, y'all. We need to stop that shit, man. We need to stop that. We can't be surprised when we had a baby at 17 or 18 and we struggling, living with motherfuckers, trying to figure out who we supposed to be in this world. And then we finally at 30-something, 40, come to realization of who we are. Well, what about the years where you didn't know who you was? How do you think that impacted your child's life? How do you think that impacted your child's mental capacity? You see what I'm saying? So we need to be accountable. We need to make sure we're not repeating the same cycle, man. We need to make sure that. This is one of the primary reasons why I started Melanated Fathers of America. Having my kids so early, going through all the bullshit I put them women through, all the bullshit I put myself through, I look back like, God damn, why did I do that? I'm watching my children, even today, in 2020, I'm watching the adverse effects of my actions 15 years ago. I'm watching them as adults. I'm watching that materialize. I'm watching that materialize. And I gotta call myself to the table. I gotta call myself to. I can't just blame the women or blame white supremacy. You see what I'm saying? I gotta look at myself in the mirror and say, no, I did this shit. This whole Rolling Stone shit where we having a baby over there and a baby over there. We need to stop that shit, family. Ain't nothing cool about that shit. These rappers is talking about they baby mamas like that's the way we are supposed to relate with one another. And it's not, family. It's not. All that shit ties into each other. All of it ties into each other. So as a black man, you want to be a revolutionary? Raise your fucking kids from top to bottom. And that don't start, this for women too actually, that don't start when the baby's born. That's not when parenting starts. That's not when it starts. It starts when you meet the partner. That's when it starts. Be sure about the person you're having a baby with. If y'all not ready, if you're not ready mentally, if you're not ready financially, don't do it. Why the fuck we feel like we have to have children? Why we feel like some of us are so bereft of self-esteem, we're so bereft of the love we were supposed to get when we were kids, we can't wait to have a goddamn kid just so we can love something. Just so somebody can love us. Well, what about the child? I know they cute now. I know the kid's cute when they're a baby. I know they smell good. I know the shoes are kind of cheap and shit. The outfits are kind of cheap. They look hella cute in all the outfits. Shouldn't be thinking about that. What about when they're 18, 19 and it's time for them to go to college? What about when they're 17 and 18 and they go outside of their door of the environment that you're raising them in, and when they go outside of their door, all they have outside of the door is disparity. It's drugs being sold. It's gangs over here. See? So all this is a part of parenting, man. This shit starts way before the kid is even born. So how we relate to one another, how we decide to mate with different people, all of this plays a large part of it. So if you have an 18, 19-year-old who unfortunately gets shot or unfortunately got to do some time or is in all kind of negative street shit, you can't absolve yourself. You can't. You got to look at, okay, what did I do to put my baby in this situation? Because humans don't really develop mentally fully till they're about 25 years old. So we calling a 21 and 22-year-old an adult, but are they really? You see what I'm saying? So all of us as a community need to do better. Starting now, we need to do better. So I mentioned everything going on in society. I mentioned all of the historical factors that play a role in who we are as a people, but fuck that. In 2020, you should know all that shit already. If you in a situation where your kid is doing shit negative in society, that's your fault. Because you gonna get them fucked up out here, and now they gotta deal with the police. Now they gotta go into this system where they was waiting for your son anyway. So what you gonna do, send them there? Right? So let's think about how we have children. If you're a black man or woman and you got kids, you got a 16, 17, talk to them, man. Be in their ear. Make sure they understand the system that we living in. Make sure they understand that there's a penitentiary waiting for their ass. Right? We in there, it's 60 to 70% of us in the goddamn pen. It's 12% of us in society. How much sense does that make? What is that telling you? That's telling you that it's a systematic ploy to police our communities in a particular way to make sure they're able to bring our ass to jail. So having a baby by a person that you don't really fuck with, and after that time, don't try to put your kid and put yourself in the best position to be successful, whether that be with your resources, whether that be with where you chose to live, whether that be with the school that you chose to put your kid in. All of these things matter. We can't just get to the point where something negative happens to one of our children, or they do something negative and we say, oh, we did everything we could, or it's on them. I don't even put the blame on the child. I don't put the blame on my son for doing what he did and being, yes, he should be held accountable a little bit, but me and his mom set the dysfunctional ass table that spawned his reaction. You see what I'm saying? So we need to be accountable for what our children do or don't do. Our kids should graduate from high school and have options about what they want to do with their lives, and these options should be provided by us. You should be able to get your kid a car when they get out of school. You should be able to have a business where your kid can come work for you when they get out of school. You need to be able to be in a position where you can bring them, you can send them to college if that's the choice you guys are going to actually make, right? But if our kids are in a position where they don't have resources, if all they're hearing from you is no, when it comes to the things they need and some of the things that they want. If the only thing you telling them is no, what do you think they're going to do? If you've chose to live in an environment because of your finances, because of what you haven't been able to do yet in life, because that's what it's about. Most of us want nice shit. Most of us want to live in nice areas. We just ain't done the work yet to get there. Let's keep it fucking real. We just ain't done the work yet to get there. So if you're not doing the work in your life, that's something you got to deal with. But what happens is we don't do the work. We don't take the time to be successful. We don't take the time to evolve. And then our kids fucking suffer. That's what happens all too often in our community. And I'm tired of that shit. We got to stop that shit. It's bad enough we got these white motherfuckers on our ass day in and day out. They ain't gonna stop. You see what I'm saying? So what we gonna do about it? Keep just buying our kids Jordans, letting them listen to hella hip hop? What we gonna do? Fuck the Jordans and shit. Fuck all this nice looking shit. Now I get you want to look nice. I know we come from Africa. I know we like to look fly. I know there's some historical shit in there that is the basis for why we like looking the way we look. I get that. I do. But at the end of the day, man, you can't be in a situation where you don't got money for rent, or you can't be in a situation where you don't got money to put your kid in a good school or send your kid to college, but they got every goddamn Jordan from the age of 8 to 18. That's money you could have saved to do some other shit. You could put that money in Nike stock or something. Get them that for Christmas instead of some goddamn Jordans. Get them some stock in Nike for Christmas. You see what I'm saying? Like how we think about this world, how we think about our community, we need to change a lot of shit, family. And if we don't change it, you know who gonna suffer? Our kids. That's who gonna suffer. You feel me? So this has been another episode, man, of the Melanated Convo podcast. I want to thank everybody who's been rocking with me. Everybody who's been watching the show, I really, really, really do appreciate it. Continue to support. Make sure you subscribe to Melanated Fathers TV. Hit the link at the bottom or hit the subscribe button at the bottom of this video. Make sure you subscribe. Go to melanatedfathers.com when you have some time. Check out the website. Check out what I do on the website. Read some of the history stories. Have your kids go to the website. You know what I mean? If you quickly want to give your kid a history lesson about a person or a place in history, or a situation in history, go to melanatedfathers.com right now. Go to the History Matters section. There's hundreds upon hundreds of different articles about people, places, and things that have happened in our history that can go a long way in empowering your kid, that can go a long way in making them realize where they come from and realize how strong they are, right? So then maybe they'll choose to go get a job opposed to doing some street shit. Maybe they'll reject some of the black on black crime shit once they see where we come from and see our potential as a people. You know what I mean? Like, if we want to see these changes take place, family, fuck the voting shit. Like, you want to rely on, you talking about the Kamala Harris and the Joe Biden shit? Family, go in your community right now and start helping out. Go in your community right now and start mentoring. Change yourself. Evolve as a person so you can be better for the people in your family. You see what I'm saying? This is the personal shit. People in our country, especially black folks, spend too much time looking to be assisted by people in institutions that are outside of yourself. Everybody's looking outside of themselves for answers when all the answers is right here. All the answers is right here. You just got to tap into that shit. You feel me? So this has been another episode, man, of the Melanated Convo podcast. I love y'all. I'm out.